students, now let us begin our talk on Jallianwala Bagh. This was 101 years ago, on 13th April 1919, that in Amritsar, a place is called Jallianwala Bagh. It was a small private garden of Jallianwala's Sardars, just 7 acres, and it's very close to Golden Temple. Everybody knows Golden Temple, and it's close to Golden Temple, and people used to just visit this place for outing or anything. But on 13th April, 101 years ago, such a massacre of Indian people took place in that small garden that one even shudders today after 101 years. How this happened, why this happened, let us try to know about it. You know, India was under British colonial rule, first indirectly from 1757, when East India Company captured most of the provinces of India and set up its rule. Although East India Company rule was also regulated by the British Parliament, but then it was not directly British government or Queen Victoria rule. 100 years later, although in between there were number of resistance movements, number of revolts, some of which are very well known, like Tipu Sultan, Hyder Ali's resistance in Mysore area in 1799. There was revolt in South India in 1806, which South Indian historians call first Indian war of independence. Although there was a dispute, because this matter went even to Madras High Court, where Madras historian Rajyam has pleaded to declare 1806 revolt in South India against Britishers to be the first war of independence. Anyway, leaving aside this kind of discussions, 1857 was the first real mass resistance against British rule, and that actually was a tragedy for India, in spite of Indian armies of various states, which was joined into a common kind of command under Bahadur Shah Zafar, who was a figurehead of India, who was Badshah Emperor of India without any power. But Indian freedom fighters, Nana Fadnavis, Tantiya Tope, Rani Lakshmi Bai, etc., Veer Kumar Singh, took Emperor Bahadur Shah Zafar as their leader. Indian forces were many-fold than British forces. Still, British forces crushed Indian War of Independence, killing thousands of people. There is still no exact record that how many Indians were killed by British forces. Actually, British forces were also killed. It was in the first War of Independence. There were massacre of British forces also, like places like in Kanpur, etc. But the killings of Indian forces and common people were many fold. Thousands of Indian people were killed. Actually, Darlempire, historian Darlempire had, dug out so many files from National Archives to put some record on straight. One particular feature of 1857 War of Independence was that Indian society, as it has been divided communally or religiously, Indian society is a combination of multi-religions, multi-culturals and multi-racials also. In this War of Independence, Hindus and Muslims and all communities, feudals and commoners, they were Rani Lakshmibai as well as Jhalkari Bai, the Dalit heroine, who was part of Lakshmibai's, actually she was covering Lakshmibai in the war. So all communities of India, feudals as well as their subjects, Hindus as well as Muslims and some Sikhs, some Christians also, they all fought together. Although they lost the war, and in 1858, British Queen Victoria, took Indian rule directly under British government. And then it was, Parliament who used to make laws for India. There was Secretary for India, and there used to be viceroys earlier also, in East India Company time also, but after British took over, so then there was viceroy appointed from Britain. Now, after 1858 and between 1947, there have been so many resistance movements in all parts of the country. Yet, one particular movement, which was in a sense was repetition of First War of Independence, and as they claimed also, that was Gadar movement. Gadar movement, which originated in United States of America in 1913, and it was actually, its name was different. So, its name was different, but it became to be known as Gadar Party, because it brought out a journal which was published in many languages, Hindi, Punjabi, Urdu, Pashto, Nepali, so many languages, and it was distributed all through the world in thousands, and that was, the paper name was Gadar, and with the name of Gadar paper, the party itself, which has a different name, used to be called as Gadar Party. And Gadar Party has taken this name by saying that British government, British colonial government, used to call our War of Independence, that was 1857 First War of Independence, as Gadar to denigrate it. What British denigrates, we take it as an honor. So for us, the British word of Gadar for 1857 is an honor for us. So they were proud to say, yes, we are Gadar Party, we are making Gadar, and we are trying Gadar again. So in 1915, they tried to make another attempt to revolt. That revolt was also crushed. It was not very well prepared, but it was, had a very high spirit of Gadarites. Some 8,000, Indians, which was mostly 90% of them were Sikhs from Punjab, they returned in ships from America to India to make another attempt at liberation of India. They tried, but they failed because there were moles inside. and they had made all their plans open, which British could easily crush. But you know that 1915 second attempt at revolt made the Britishers, it kind of scared. They were thinking that, and then there were many other, disturbances in India. Although there was First World War also at that time, 1914 to 1919. During that First World War, British recruited so many Indians. I think more than 75,000 Indians, or nearly a lakh Indians, fought for British government. And they served British government in World War. And then Indian people were expecting that since our Indians have suffered for British interests, so British government will also consider some kind of concessions to India. Nothing happened. And that revolt which took place in 1915, and then, since we are living in coronavirus times, in 1918, there was what is called Spanish flu, although these names are very wrong. Calling corona as Chinese or flu as Spanish is not accurate. So there are, viruses which sometimes come through, and it cannot be named with certain countries. So that flu, it was international kind of, like corona, it was international kind of killer flu, and about more than 1 crore, 1 crore 30 lakh perhaps, Indians had died in that flu. Now you should understand the way 40 crore Indian labor are on roads today. They can die with hunger. They are hungry. Now, same was the condition. British thought that there was labor unrest. There was labor unrest, and also Ghadar party had made an attempt. There were revolutionary activities in Bengal, Maharashtra, and Punjab. So, at that time, British colonial government appointed a committee which was called Sedition Committee. Now that Sedition Committee, it was set up in 1917 during the term of Viceroy Lord Chelmsford. Now this committee, which was headed by Sir Sidney Rowlatt, that committee actually had, I think I should share with you, who are the members of that committee. That Sedition Committee. That Sedition Committee report was published by British government. It's available to historians. Many historians refer to it. And Rowlatt was its chairman, Sir Sidney Rowlatt. J.D.V. Hodge, Hodge, who was Secretary of Bengal Service at that time. Since this my talk is being broadcast by West Bengal CPM Digital also, so it's many things are related to Bengal, even for Jalianwala Bagh. Many things are related. I will tell you. Now, other member was Basil Scott. Now, Basil Scott was Chief Justice of Bombay High Court. Another member was Varney Lovett. He was member of UP Revenue Board. Again, a Bengal MLC, PC Mitra, was member of Rowlatt Committee, was member of Sedition Committee, popularly became known as Rowlatt Committee. And that another Indian member was Madras High Court Judge, he was also Indian, C.V. Kumara Swami Shastri. Now, these were the members of the committee. This Rowlatt Committee Now I am giving you the background of the whole situation. This Rowlatt Committee took into account the various activities of revolutionaries like Gadar Party, some in Bengal, some in Maharashtra, and also the labor unrest caused by flu at that time. And they came out with a report in 1918. 1918, that report was submitted to the government. Then British government took account of it, and whatever Rowlatt Committee has recommended, that law was actually very worst kism of law which they wanted to implement in India. The one word explanation of that law was no vakil, no dalil, no appeal. Neither you could argue, nor you could appeal, nor you could have any kind of relief in that. So whatever is done is done. You could be put into jail, you could be shot dead, you could be do any kind of thing. Actually, whatever happened during Jalianwala Bagh, that one can see the form of that Rowlatt Act, if it was implemented for 3 years actually. So now that Rowlatt Act was brought to Imperial Legislative Council. Imperial Legislative Council is what we call today Parliament of India. Later on, after Imperialist Legislative Council, it got used to call as Central Assembly. Later on, it acquired the name of Central Assembly. Now, the Central Assembly had mostly nominated members, some from India, some from British colonialism. Now, in that Imperial Council, there were Indian nominated members as well as British nominated members. All Indian members, despite being in nominated condition, who were nominated by the British government itself, they all opposed this law tooth and nail. They refused to accept this Rowlatt Committee report and its recommendations. So they boycotted, and British government passed that law on 10th March 1919 in its Imperial Council in Delhi. Now, since it became a kind of law, it was passed by the council and then it was approved. Then Congress Party, Mahatma Gandhi had returned to India in 1915. Till then, he hasn't emerged as a single kind of leader. At that time, there were people like Bipin Chandra Paul from Bengal, Lala Lajpat Rai from Punjab, Lokmanya Tilak from Maharashtra. These were the tallest leaders of national movement. And then there were people like C.R. Das, Chittaranjan Das in Bengal, and many more people, Motilal Nehru, Mohan Malviya. These were the tall people. Gandhi was nowhere them at that time. But then Mahatma Gandhi actually gave a call for a strike at all India level for 13th March. So it was a kind of all India first call by Mahatma Gandhi. Although prior to that, Mahatma Gandhi had been touring India. He had been to Champaran and many other places in Bihar and saw the Indian people suffering from close quarters. So, and Punjab he has never come. Now he started for Punjab from Bombay. He used to live in Bombay because he was practicing as a lawyer in Bombay. But he was stopped at Palwal and sent back. He was not allowed to enter Punjab. That was the year when Indian National Congress was planning to have its conference or annual conference at Punjab. Now, let me actually, this is 5:21 at my watch. I will like to stop for 1 minute and I will ask I will request all of you who are watching my talk that let us keep silent for 1 minute to pay homage to the martyrs of Jallianwala Bagh. I will narrate the story further later, because it was between 5:10 to 5:20 p.m. In 10 minutes, Dyer and his army of 50 people, Balochs and Gurkhas, fired 1650 rounds of bullets in the chests of Indian people, and people started dying, getting wounded. So I will just bow my head and keep quiet for 1 minute, and I will request all of you, you can fold your hands, you can just keep quiet, you can have tears in your eyes as well to pay the homage. Yes, friends, I shall get back to the story of Jallianwala Bagh. So, I was talking about, Mahatma Gandhi's call. What happened is, since Mahatma Gandhi himself thought that his call hasn't reached, at the ऑल इंडिया लेवल. थोड़ा हिंदी में भी साथ साथ बात करते हैं, हिंदुस्तानी में. मैंने गांधी जी ने 30 मार्च के लिए सारे हिंदुस्तान में हड़ताल के लिए कहा था, लेकिन गांधी जी को खुद ही लगा कि 30 मार्च तक उनकी बात सारे शहरों में, सारे गांवों में, सारे हिंदुस्तान में नहीं पहुंच पाई, तो उन्होंने उसको बदलकर 6 अप्रैल कर दिया. तो गांधी जी चेंज द डेट ऑफ स्ट्राइक, ऑल इंडिया स्ट्राइक, टू 6 अप्रैल. बट सिंस गांधी जी हैड गिवन कॉल फॉर 30th March, many cities in the country, it was not like today's, आज की तरह का सोशल मीडिया नहीं था कि एक मिनट में आपको बस व्हाट्सएप मैसेज आ गया, एक मिनट में आपका ट्विटर आ गया, एक सेकंड में आपका फेसबुक आ गया. वो ज़माना था जब दिनों तक खबरें नहीं पहुंचती थी. पीपल यूज टू नो बाय न्यूज़पेपर्स, और गांव में तो न्यूज़पेपर कई दिन तक नहीं पहुंचते थे. शहरों तक में ही न्यूज़पेपर पहुंचते थे, और शहरों तक में जहां खबर लगी 30 मार्च की स्ट्राइक की, वो बड़े शहरों में लगी, दिल्ली, बॉम्बे, कलकत्ता, मद्रास, अमृतसर वगैरह. तो 30 मार्च को अमृतसर में और दिल्ली में जबरदस्त स्ट्राइक हुई. इट वाज ए ह्यूज स्ट्राइक इन दिल्ली as well as in Amritsar and in many other towns of the country. And it was a total success. In fact, there was some violence in Delhi on 30th March. I think 7-8 people were actually died during that violence in Delhi. But in Amritsar, no violence took place. So it was a very peaceful kind of strike. But that was a strike which, made the British government shudder. Michael O'Dwyer was the Lieutenant Governor of Punjab at that time. और अमृतसर के डिप्टी कमिश्नर थे इरविंग माइल्स, और इरविंग माइल्स जो है वो कांग्रेस के अंदर भी उन्होंने अपने मोल जासूस घुसा रखे थे। एक हंसराज नाम का आदमी था जो कांग्रेस के अंदर की खबरें उनको देता रहता था। अमृतसर एंड पंजाब आल्सो एट दैट टाइम इट वाज ह्यूज, पंजाब वाज ह्यूज। पाकिस्तानी पंजाब एंड इंडियन पंजाब वर द same Punjab, one Punjab at that time, and it, had two very, very popular leaders at that time. They were, and both were based in Amritsar. One was Dr. Saifuddin Kichlu, another was Dr. Satyapal. Incidentally, both of these leaders were considered to be of left orientation. And Dr. Saifuddin Kichlu was Kashmiri. वो कश्मीरी थे, but their family was living in Amritsar since very long. And Dr. Satyapal मेडिकल डॉक्टर थे, डॉक्टर किचलू एकेडमिक डॉक्टर थे, माने पीएचडी थे, वो जर्मनी वगैरह से बहुत बाहर से पीएचडी थे, लेकिन कांग्रेस के बहुत पॉपुलर लीडर्स में थे वो। और 30 मार्च की हड़ताल में इन लोगों का बड़ा ज़बरदस्त भूमिका थी, और उस दिन भी शायद जलियांवाला बाग में एक बड़ी रैली हुई थी 30 मार्च को। लेकिन 30 मार्च की हड़ताल को देखकर अंग्रेज़ों को बहुत एक किस्म के कहना चाहिए कि शौक लगा, झटका लगा। पहले तो उन्होंने सोचा था कि वो 30 मार्च की कॉल तो वापस हो गई है, कुछ नहीं होगा, लेकिन दिल्ली में और अमृतसर में और बहुत सारे दूसरे शहरों में जो हड़ताल का जो असर दिखा, तो उसके बाद से फॉर 6 अप्रैल द ब्रिटिशर बिकेम टू नर्वस अबाउट इट। बहुत उनको लगा कि अब तो बहुत ही ज़्यादा जो है वो हालात खतरनाक हो सकते हैं। तो कांग्रेस अपनी तैयारी में लगी कि 6 अप्रैल की, अब मैं ज़्यादातर बातें आपको अमृतसर के बारे में ही बताऊंगा। I will not be talking about the other parts of the country, but it was a pan-Indian strike. It was not just Punjab or Amritsar based strike, but since we are talking about Jallianwala Bagh and all things that have been happening actually in, and actually I would like to at the moment show you the 2 books also. One is Revisiting Colonial Cruelty at Jallianwala Bagh. This is by, I don't know whether you can see it, well I am showing it to you. This was published by Progressive Group in Edmonton from Canada. Indians have been published. This is a centenary kind of commemoration publication. And another book which was published last year, a Hindi novel, Amritsar 1919. So this is written by Canadian based scholar, although his background is from Amritsar, Rajneesh Dhawan. So this novel was also published in 2019, last year. So it's a kind of commemorative volume. Now, इस नॉवल में उन्होंने, रजनीश धवन ने, क्योंकि वो खुद अमृतसर से थे, बहुत ही जियोग्राफिकली और पूरा विस्तार से सारे कहानी को अपने नॉवल में पिरोया है। और 30 मार्च की हड़ताल का भी उन्होंने काफ़ी वर्णन किया है, और उसके बाद से 6 मार्च की तैयारियों का भी वर्णन किया है। To contain 6th April strike, Irving Miles, who was the deputy commissioner of Amritsar at that time, he was about 50-year-old. He was jogging and doing, and his wife was Emily. They were living in Amritsar, and I think both Satyapal and Saifuddin Kichlu, they were sort of contained in their houses. They were not allowed to come out, but there were other Congress workers like Badrul Islam, Kanhaiya Lal, and so many local other workers. And in fact, this Hansraj was also a Congress worker. So these were the people who were, working among people and preparing for the 6th April strike. Now, 6th April strike also proved to be a big success. Not only in Amritsar, I think all over India. In fact, that established Mahatma Gandhi's leadership throughout the country as a sort of one of the tall leaders of country. Now, after the 6th April strike, the Britishers were, they were very scared. They were thinking that Indians are restless and Indians can, do something which made them reminding of 1857 or 1914. And the conditions were taking place in that direction also. In fact, it was such an impact in Punjab, especially of this movement, that in Amritsar, under the leadership of Dr. Saifuddin Kichlu and Dr. Satyapal, there was Ram Navami, the Hindu festival, was falling that year on 9th April. तो 9 अप्रैल को रामनवमी पड़ रही थी उस साल. तो उस साल कांग्रेस के लोगों ने ये डिसाइड किया कि हम लोग रामनवमी इस बार हिंदू मुस्लिम इत्तेहाद के रूप में, एज ए हिंदू मुस्लिम यूनिटी डे के रूप में jointly मनाएंगे. And it was a Hindu festival. So generally Muslims or Sikhs will not participate into that. So only Hindus will participate with their procession and water and whatever they do that day. They bring out, Ram on Ratha and all that. But this time, the Congress leaders approached Muslims were also part of Congress party. Sikhs were also part of Congress party. Congress party was in a way that time the only party which were representing the Indian freedom struggle. There were groups of people who were having revolutionary tendencies or other kind of tendencies, but a larger mass group or mass organization was Congress only. And Muslims, Sikhs, Hindus, everyone was part of that. So this time they decided that let this Ram Navami, because India always has this communal problem. India always have these kind of religious divisions, communal divisions, and some sort of communal groups try to keep on sharpening these communal divides, as some of the groups do today also. Same is the situation. Today also there are certain groups, who try to widen the rifts between communities, rather than even during the time of coronavirus, when people are suffering, there are people who are trying to, communalize even this situation. So that was the kind of, during freedom struggle also, there were communal groups, whatever name, they must be having some Hindu Mahasabha, some Sikh organization, some Muslim organization. They were all, trying to divide Indian people at communal level. Now, here also, this time, this Congress took a very wise decision that they will approach. So, Muslim religious leaders were approached by the Congress people. Even Hindu preachers were also approached. It was a problem on both sides. Because in those days, on railway stations, in summer, people, nude passengers need to have water, पानी की जरूरत होती है, और रेलवे स्टेशनों पे पुराने ज़माने के लोग जानते थे, दो तरह के लगते थे, हिंदू पानी, मुस्लिम पानी, माने दो अलग अलग घड़े रखे होते थे, अलग अलग जगह में थोड़ी डिस्टेंस में रखे होते थे, और उसमें हिंदू अपना घड़ा लेके पानी पिलाते थे मुसाफिरों को, और मुसलमान अपना घड़ा लेके मुसलमानों को पानी पिलाते थे. तो इतना डिवीजन था लोगों में कि पानी भी जो है वो अलग अलग घड़ों से पिया जाता था. तो इस बार उन लोगों ने सोचा कि दैट वाज द नेशनल मूवमेंट्स वेरी प्रोग्रेसिव काइंड ऑफ अप्रोच, दैट दिस टाइम वी शुड ट्राई टू make a common kind of, now Hindu preachers, Pandits, etc., they reluctantly agreed. Muslim gurus, they also agreed, but they put a condition, and that was a very valid condition. So they put a condition that, okay, we will join the procession, we will join the Hindu festivities with them like brothers, on one condition, that there will be a single ghada. There will be no Hindu pani, there will be no Muslim pani. There will be only one pani. And only from one pitcher, Hindus, Muslims and Sikhs will all drink water together. If they are agreeable, then we will join this procession. Now that's a very understandable kind of thing, because in India, Muslims, even today, Muslims, minorities and Dalits, they are looked down upon. They are considered, some kind of untouchables for many upper caste Hindus and like that. They don't want to eat with them, they don't want to sit with them, they may talk to them, but they will not like to have a kind of sharing the food and all that. And that was a very, in a very difficult condition for Hindu preachers or Dharma gurus to agree. But they agreed. They did agree. That was a very fantastic thing, that they agreed that, okay, we agree that if all Hindu, Sikh, actually for Sikhs it was no problem. Sikhs always serve, water on summer days of any festival, whether it's a Hindu festival, whether it's a Muslim festival, whether it's a Sikh festival. So they will serve sweet water, cold water to the people in summer days. That is, their chabils are common. So for them it was not a problem. It was problem for Hindus, whether to have water from the same pitcher. एक ही घड़े से पानी पीने के लिए तैयार होंगे तो हो गए. So that was a fantastic thing. So Hindus and Sikhs and Muslims, that was a fantastic kind of thing, unimaginable kind of thing, 101 years ago, that Hindus, Muslims, Sikhs and some of the Christians also will all take part in the procession, which will have, the murtis of Ram, Sita, Lakshman, Hanuman, etc. in Rath, and they will all walk together. And during summer days, but you will get thirsty. तो साथ में एक ही घड़े से, जगह जगह घड़े लगे हुए थे, एक ही घड़े लगे हुए थे. माने घड़े चाहे 10 लगे हों, लेकिन पानी पिलाने वाले सब एक ही थे. हिंदू, मुसलमान, सिख सब इकट्ठे थे, और पीने वाले भी हिंदू, मुसलमान, सिख सब थे. तो सबको एक ही घड़े से पानी पिलाया जा रहा था और वो लोग पी रहे थे. तो हजारों लोगों का जुलूस रामनवमी का इस तरीके से निकला कि बड़े पूरी दुनिया में हैरानी कर. The whole world was wonderstruck that what a fantastic kind of Ramnavami julus, Hindu, Muslims, Sikhs, all communities have brought together. Now that actually gave a kind of shudder to the Britishers. उनको लगा, मैंने the Indians fought together. The last time Hindus and Muslims and all communities, Hindus and Muslims are the major communities of India. So that's why I am time and again referring to Hindus and Muslims. Otherwise, Sikhs, Christians, etc. Everybody, there are so many other communities also. But since they are major communities and since they have major differences also in their social life, so that's why their unity always matters more. Their unity always is very significant. So the British colonialism thought that after 1857, when they had fought together, and then we have kept them divided by our policies all through. Now again they are coming together. And Amritsar is one example. So that example can be followed all through. That can go to Delhi, that can go to Bombay, that can go to Calcutta, they can go to any other city and state. So we have to stop this. We have to stop this. Otherwise, if Indians get united, we cannot rule India. We cannot stay there for long. So that was a kind of, they were scared to that. So that time, when Deputy Commissioner on that evening telephoned Michael O'Dwyer, who was based in Lahore, which is just 30 miles from Amritsar. When there has been no partition Amritsar and Lahore would have been today one city, like Hyderabad and Sikandrabad, or Delhi and Faridabad, or Delhi and Gurgaon. So they have been, one capital region. But because of partition, this didn't happen. But the people from Amritsar and Lahore, they used to travel each day. They were going to each other places. So anyway, when Dwyer said, okay, if things do not seem to be under your control, I think I will have to put Amritsar under martial law. Miles were a bit scared that if martial law is placed, then he phoned Reginald Dyer. Reginald Dyer, who was a brigadier, he was promoted immediately to lieutenant by Michael O'Dwyer, the lieutenant governor. He said, okay, he telephoned, who was based in Jalandhar at that time. He telephoned Dyer, okay, Dyer, I am promoting you to the lieutenant and you immediately move to Amritsar. Immediately. Now that he phoned him on 10th April, perhaps. And 11th April, or maybe 11th April morning he phoned him. 11th April by evening, by 4 o'clock or so, Dyer moved from Jalandhar, and Jalandhar to Amritsar is also not very far. I mean, it's 1 hour, 1.5 hour, 60, 70 miles. So he reached Amritsar by 11th evening. But between 9th and 11th, there were earth-shaking events. On 10th morning, O'Dwyer, Lieutenant Governor, told Amritsar DC, Irving Miles, to invite Dr. Satyapal and Dr. Saifuddin Kichlu on a cup of tea. आप सत्यपाल और किचलू को सुबह चाय पे बुलाइए. And he gave the instruction. And the instructions were to exile them from the city. Now, they were already under house arrest. And as per the novel written by Rajneesh Dhawan, which I showed you, and which actually I think V.N. Datta has very in detail in his books has referred to that Hansraj went with the invitation कि DC साहब ने आपको चाय पे बुलाया है. और they never trusted Hansraj, but they a day earlier, as per novel, the orphanage in Amritsar, where Udham Singh was sheltered, Udham Singh has taken as orphan there. Now, in that orphanage in charge, Gyani Bhag Singh, he was arrested and tortured as per this novel. I am not sure about the fact about it, but I am referring to novel. Now then Satyapal and Dr. Kichlu both told that okay, we will go, but first we must go to the police station to inquire about Gyani Bhag Singh, who was in charge of that orphanage. And when they reached there in the police station, that Gyani Bhag Singh was badly tortured. He was bleeding, his केश were open, केश बिखरे हुए थे और बुरी तरह मारा हुआ था उनको. तो उन्होंने कहा कि till the time Gyani Bhag Singh is released, we will not go to meet DC. And then Gyani Bhag Singh had to be released and he was sent to a doctor's place. And then Dr. Satyapal and Dr. Kichlu reached at Deputy Commissioner residence. Of course, he might have brought tea for them, but then on tea he told them that okay, I have orders to exile you. So I am sending you to Dharamshala. Now, Dharamshala in Himachal Pradesh, now in Himachal Pradesh, that time it was part of Punjab only. Punjab was huge at that time. So that was about 200 miles away from Amritsar. So immediately from Irving Miles Deputy Commissioner's home, in Sarkari Gadi, in the government, they were sent to Dharamshala. Now, this news could not be suppressed. The news reached people that Dr. Satyapal and Dr. Kichlu, who were most popular leader of Amritsar, have been exiled, have been arrested. मतलब people तो जानते हैं कि गिरफ्तार कर लिया उनको गिरफ्तार करके भेज दिया, अमृतसर से बाहर भेज दिया। बहुत कहाँ भेज दिया किसी को मालूम नहीं है। तो ये सारी खबर जब उनके पास पहुंची तो 11 तारीख को मैंने देयर वाज लॉट ऑफ रिजेंटमेंट, लॉट ऑफ एंगर, लॉट ऑफ so Congress activists were talking to each other, meeting each other, talking. So on 11th morning, a procession started, and they just wanted that they should give a memorandum to the Deputy Commissioner asking for the release of Dr. Satyapal and Dr. Kichlu. They were confronted by a army unit near Amritsar railway station. This railway carriage station, which is called Bhandari Bridge. I have been lived in Amritsar for some time, and many of people who are from Amritsar, they know where this Bhandari Bridge is. There they were confronted, they were asked to disperse. They were just saying that allow just 4 or 5 of us to go to Deputy Commissioner and submit the memorandum. They were very brutally attacked. They were told to disperse or they will be shot. And when people didn't disperse, they immediately, showed the bullets on them. And within minutes, I think more than 20 people were fallen. Now, this was a kind of thing which, made people just out of blue, it came like that. Then the other people, there were thousands of them who had come in procession. They moved towards town hall. Now, town hall is a kind of central seat of power in Amritsar. So, they moved toward town hall. It's a huge elite area when you enter through Hall Gate. People in Punjab know about Hall Gate, Amritsar. Hall Gate is a very famous kind of thing. So, when they reached town hall, there were few British banks. There was Alliance Bank and there was some other bank also. So, they attacked the banks. They were all manned by Britishers. So, I think in one bank, one manager and another assistant manager, both these Britishers, they were killed and bank was burned. And in Alliance branch, there was another British manager, Thompson or so. So, he was also killed. And then 2 more Britishers got killed. One was Robinson, he was railway guard or something. And there was another one, so who was on some duty in that area. And they burned town hall, etc. So, people were angry because they had already killed, 20 people out of them. Then, they were just helter-skelter. And then what happened, there was one lady, Miss Sherwood. She was running actually a school. She was a kind of manager of that school. She was doing good work. It was, she has no enmity with the people like anything. She has no that kind of arrogance also. But she was just going upon her cycle to her home. And then when this crowd, they were so angry, they wanted to kill every Britisher they saw. They attacked her. Now, she was attacked, but she was not killed. In between, the Congress people reached there. Women of Congress and men of Congress, they actually saved Miss Sherwood from the people. They stood before the crowd. They said, first you kill us, only then you can, kill. They actually took Miss Sherwood to hospital, got her admitted, and then people were actually told, listen, there is going to be curfew in the evening, so better let us bury, let us cremate our dead people. Because dead bodies were lying in that area of Bhandari Bridge. So then people, around 3 o'clock, 20 buyers were taken out. 20 अर्थियाँ निकली, कुछ चली कब्रिस्तान के लिए, कुछ चली शमशान घाट के लिए। आजकल तो योगी आदित्यनाथ जैसे शमशान और कब्रिस्तान के नारे लगाते हैं, इनको शर्म नहीं आती। ये ऐसे लोग हैं जिन्होंने ये सब करवाया हुआ है हिंदुस्तान में, ये उन्हीं के वारिस हैं, ये योगी जैसे लोग। तो वो शमशान और कब्रिस्तान के जो नारे लगाते हैं, तो वो उन लोगों को, 20 लोगों को, जो कुछ हिंदू थे, कुछ सिख थे, कुछ मुसलमान थे, उन सबको शाम होने से पहले कुछ को दफनाया, कुछ को जलाया और लोग घरों को लौटे। लेकिन 11 तारीख को शाम को जब ये डायर अमृतसर पहुंचा, जाके उसने डीसी से भी मुलाकात की और डीसी को उसने बता दिया कि नाउ अमृतसर इज अंडर माय कंट्रोल। डेप्यूटी कमिश्नर, दिस सिविल ऑफिसर tried to resist this kind of thing, but he told him very brutally, you have to work under me. So, and he told Lieutenant Governor Adware's message that, okay, I am clamping martial law over Amritsar. You do whatever you want to do. So that's how now Dyer thought that I will teach Amritsar people a lesson, because when he got report, Dyer was not bothered that 20 Indians have been brutally killed. He was bothered that 5 British citizens were killed who were manning banks and all that, and Miss Sherwood was attacked, who was not killed. He went to, on 12th April, he went to that hospital also, where Miss Sherwood was admitted. Then he went to the street where Miss Sherwood lived, or Miss Sherwood. He went to that street and there he gave the order that on 2 sides of the street there will be टिकटिकी, there will be 2 टिकटिकियां लगाई जाएंगी, एक उस तरफ और एक इस तरफ, और इस गली से गुजरने वाला हर आदमी क्रॉल करके गुजरेगा नीचे से, चाहे वो जितना बड़ा अमृतसर का शहरी क्यों ना हो, वकील हो, डॉक्टर हो, 70 साल का बुजुर्ग हो, 3 साल का बच्चा हो, बूढ़ी हो 80 साल की, उसको क्रॉल करके 4 पांव पे, बिल्कुल नहीं 4 पांव पे नहीं, बिल्कुल घिसटते हुए नीचे। आपने मेरे उस पे देखी होगी फोटो जो मैंने फेसबुक पे लगा रखी है, वो उस क्रॉलिंग की फोटो है कि कैसे आदमी क्रॉल करते हैं, कैसे आदमी नीचे से घिसट घिसट कर जाते हैं। और जो कोई सवाल करता था इस बात को लेकर कि क्यों ऐसा किया जा रहा है, तो उस टिकटिकी पे लगा के खड़ा करके उस आदमी को उसकी पीठ नंगी करके उसके ऊपर कोड़े बरसाए जाते थे, 15 से लेकर 30 तक कोड़े, और उसकी पीठ खून खून हो जाती थी। और ये सारा कुछ पूरे पंजाब में दोहराया गया बाद में, ये तो अमृतसर की मैं बात बता रहा हूँ। और उस क्रॉल करके ही उसको वहां से अगर बाहर भी निकलना है गली से, तब भी क्रॉल करके निकलना पड़ेगा। और डायर ने उस दिन ऑर्डर कर दिया कि 1 हफ्ते के लिए, फॉर 1 वीक, पानी और बिजली काट दो, कनेक्शन, पानी और बिजली का कनेक्शन काट दो पूरे अमृतसर का। तो ये हालत आज आप कोरोना वायरस के दिनों में भी ये सब देख रहे हो कि कैसे भूखों मरते मजदूर सड़कों पे घूम रहे हैं, और उनके लिए कोई ना तो काम है और ना ही कोई उनके लिए जगह है रहने की, और कहीं भी वो रह रहे हैं, कहीं भी उनको रख दिया जा रहा है, कहीं भी कभी खाना मिल रहा है, कभी खाना नहीं मिल रहा। तो उस तरीके से मैंने वहाँ पे ये सब ऑर्डर कर दिए, और डायर ने कहा कि किसी भी सूरत में अब कोई मीटिंग नहीं अलाउ की जाएगी। लेकिन उसने इस बात की लेके मुनादी भी करवा दी, पूरा द होल सिटी वाज एडवर्टाइज्ड अबाउट इट कि देयर विल बी नो मीटिंग, नो गैदरिंग ऑफ मोर देन 4 पीपल, एटसेट्रा एटसेट्रा। और लेकिन कांग्रेस के लोग भी जो है उस वक्त नेशनल मूवमेंट के लिए ये एक बहुत बड़ी चुनौती थी। दिस वाज अ बिग चैलेंज, हाउ द ब्रिटिश आर डूइंग अस, ट्रीटिंग अस। वी हैव सर्व्ड देम इन द फर्स्ट वर्ल्ड वॉर, वी हैव डाइड फॉर देम। Thousands of Punjabis and Indians had died in First World War fighting for British, and we are treated like that. And then, on 13th April, since it is a Baisakhi day, it's a huge celebrities, celebrations in Amritsar. People come to Golden Temple, and it's a harvesting season also. Peasants have, cut their crops and they're happy, they dance, they celebrate, they come to Amritsar for that. Now, but then this was the different Baisakhi. What Nanak Singh wrote a poem which he called as Khuni Baisakhi, Bloody Baisakhi. So this was going to be a Bloody Baisakhi this year. 13th April was going to be a Bloody Baisakhi, which Nanak Singh wrote this poem, long poem, in 1920. In fact, Nanak Singh was inside. He was a sort of, just very young adult, 16, 17 or so, or 18, 19. And he was inside Jalianwala Bagh. And his friend got killed, but he survived because he was under few more dead bodies. So he survived because of that. And later on he wrote this poem, which was immediately proscribed. And now after, last year only, 2019 only, Nanak Singh's grandson, who has also earlier translated two of his novels, and his grandson is, I'm forgetting his name, and he retired from IFS, Indian Foreign Service. He was till a few years ago ambassador to Dubai, and so he translated this into English, and interestingly he got Sidney Rollett's grandson, Justin Rollett, who was BBC correspondent in Delhi, now his grandson. He wrote few pages in that collection, regretting his grandfather's, asking apology for his grandfather's role in this whole, Rollett kind of act. Anyway, so that was the time, when Dyer announced he will not allow this. But he wanted actually that people should gather and he should kill them brutally to make a certain example of Amritsar that which should be for the whole country, and not only for the whole country, maybe for the whole British colonial regimes wherever they were ruling more than 60 countries of Asia and Africa at that time. And जैसे हमारे गांव में किसान जो है ना अपनी खेती की रक्षा के लिए मार के डरना गाड़ देते हैं कि पक्षियों से बचाने के लिए फसल को, और वो उस डरने को देख के जो है वो पक्षी दूर भागते हैं. तो ही वांटेड टू सेट अमृतसर एज एन एग्जाम्पल कि जिसको देख के न सिर्फ अमृतसर के लोग, पूरे हिंदुस्तान के लोग और पूरे एशिया और अफ्रीका के लोग भी जो कॉलोनाइज थे वो देख के डरें कि अगर अंग्रेजों के खिलाफ बगावत की या अंग्रेजों के खिलाफ कुछ भी किया तो आपका ये हश्र होगा. So he actually really wanted it, that people should gather and he should set an example. So he used Hansraj for that. So Hansraj was bringing news from inside Congress, and since Dr. Satyapal and Dr. Kichlu, they were leaderless, but they were local, there were other leaders. There were Badalur Islam, there were Kanhaiya Lal, there were so many others Congress leaders who were as keen, to carry on the struggle. So on 13th April, by all means, underground means, how you distribute posters, how you distribute this kind of notices, that there will be a meeting, protest meeting in Jalianwala Bagh at 5 o'clock on 13th April. Now, this man Dyer had also decided that he will teach them a lesson. On 12th April, he took a round of the whole city with two his armored cars to instill fear in people, and people didn't still got scared. And 13th April, now I'm coming to the exact, about 3 o'clock. About 3 o'clock, I think I have taken already 1 hour. How long you want me to continue? So about 3 o'clock, there were thousands of people in Jalianwala Bagh. Hansraj was on the stage. He was going out of Bagh also, going to town hall, reporting to the deputy commissioner and Dyer whatever is happening. and he was inside also. So around 4:30, one Durgadas was giving lecture. There were so many speakers on the dais. There were so many people on the dais, and Kanhaiyalal was to perhaps preside over. And 4:30, from Gobindgarh Fort, where Dyer has based his people, Dyer came towards Town Hall, which was close to Jallianwala Bagh, and he reached there with 25 of his Baloch army and 25 of Gurkha army. They were with guns. And there were 40 more Gurkhas which were having just kukris. He thought that if need be, he will use these kukris if the bullets end, then they can use kukris to kill people. So that's with people. From 4:30, he reached Town Hall, getting signal from Hansraj. At 5 o'clock, he started from Town Hall, reached at the north gate of Jallianwala Bagh. There is just one narrow path where armored cars cannot enter. So Dyer has to enter by walk. If he could get the armored car inside garden, he could have. And he was followed by his 50 men. I think people were wondering. There were about 20,000 people, and speeches were being made, songs were being sung, national songs were being sung from the dais, and people were thinking, would this man do shooting? They were not, believing that he will do this kind of thing. Within 5 minutes, around 5:10, Dyer ordered fire straight into people's chests, not into their legs, which is the common rule. He said fire straight into people's chests, and immediately 50 people fired, and they continuously fired for 10 minutes. And in 10 minutes, 1,650 rounds were fired. 1650 बुलेट फायर कर दिए गए 10 मिनट के अंदर. Within minutes, people started falling down. Hundreds of people within minutes, dead. The cries. It was and Dyer left with his men by 5:30. By 5:30, he went out. People were so scared. People were so terrorized. They couldn't just move. Some people tried to save them. There were small walls around. It was a very closed kind of garden, but people were trying to jump the walls. They couldn't go from the gate. There was only one gate. So they started jumping from the walls. Few people could jump out of the walls, but not many. Then people were crying to get help from outside. Dyer didn't allow any doctors to enter. People were so terrorized. Even though outside people were watching it, what is happening? People couldn't dare to go and render them medical help. People couldn't go inside and get the dead bodies out. It was such a terrifying scene. It was such a, and Dyer has already announced a day earlier that there will be curfew at 8 p.m. and there will be no kind of asking. If anybody is seen anywhere, he will be straightway shot, dead. So people were scared of curfew also, and there were many animals also inside. They also died. More than 100 people. There was a well inside शहीदी कुआं. आपने जिन लोगों ने देखा है जलियांवाला बाग, उस पे मार्टायर्स वेल इज देयर, शहीदी कुआं. 100 से ज़्यादा लोग उसमें कूद के ही मर गए. बाद में सारी लाशें निकाली गई. पूरे बाग की दीवारों पे बुलेट्स के निशान आज भी लगे हुए हैं. आप सब में से काफ़ी लोगों ने देखे होंगे उनको. पीपल माइट हैव सीन दैट. और वहाँ लाशें ढूंढने के लिए, अपने जिंदा या मर चुके हमनवाओं को ढूंढने के लिए, अपने रिश्तेदारों को ढूंढने के लिए, अपने बेटों को ढूंढने के लिए, अपने खावंद को ढूंढने के लिए, अपने पिताओं को ढूंढने के लिए, अपने भाइयों को ढूंढने के लिए, अपने दोस्तों को ढूंढने के लिए, पीपल वर जस्ट रोमिंग अराउंड. लाशों को उल्टा उल्टा के देख रहे थे कि कोई मेरा तो नहीं है, कोई मेरा तो नहीं है. ऐसी टेरिबल स्टोरीज हैं. वहाँ पार्टीशन म्यूजियम अब बन गया है टाउन हॉल में. वहाँ पे उन्होंने जलियांवाला बाग के ऊपर एक पूरी एग्जीबिशन लगाई थी. उसमें बहुत सारे लोगों के एविडेंस उसमें रिकॉर्ड किए हुए थे. वैसे बहुत सारे एविडेंस जो है वो कांग्रेस की इंक्वायरी कमेटी में भी रिकॉर्डेड है. तो एक रतन देवी का बहुत ही टचिंग, जिसको कहना चाहिए बहुत ही दर्दनाक किस्म का है. 2-3 औरतों का है. एक दूसरी औरत का भी है, अतरकौर का भी है. अतरकौर का भी है जो अपने खावंदों की लाशों के साथ वहाँ अंदर थी. रतन कौर अपने खावंद की लाश को गोदी में लेके बैठी थी. वो बार बार मक्खियाँ आते थे, कुत्ते आते थे, उनको भगाती थी लाठी से. किसी ने पास में से पानी मांगा. किस तरीके से पानी कहीं नहीं था पिलाने के लिए. खून ही खून था. तो वो सारा कुछ जो है, मैंने किसी की टांग उसने सीधी की, किसी का कुछ किया. तो इस तरीके से ये कांड जो है चला. और अगले दिन सुबह कर्फ्यू खुलने के बाद ही लोग वहाँ चारपाइयाँ लेकर या डॉक्टर लेकर पहुँच सके, और वहाँ पे जो थोड़े बहुत बच सकते थे उनको बचाया. लेकिन ये कांड जो है 13 अप्रैल 1919 का हिंदुस्तान के इतिहास में, हिंदुस्तान की आज़ादी के संग्राम के इतिहास में, इन द हिस्ट्री ऑफ फ्रीडम स्ट्रगल ऑफ इंडिया, दिस वाज द मोस्ट क्रूशियल डे. ये सबसे क्रूशियल डे है. इस तरह के कांड ब्रिटिश कॉलोनियलिज्म ने और मुल्कों में भी किया. इन केनिया फ्रॉम ईयर 1952 to 1959 they had crushed Mau movement of African people, killing more than 25,000 people. Those Mau movement just 4-5 years ago won a case from British court itself and getting millions of pounds as compensation for the survivors, not survivors, but the next generation and further generation, people. And here what was given to the victims of Jallianwala Bagh, dead or wounded, from 50 rupees to 1 lakh. That was the only thing. Now I think I should somewhere try to conclude here. And there were 2 commissions formed after this. British also formed a Hunter Committee, and Congress also formed a inquiry committee. Now actually it will be interesting for you to know who were the members of Hunter Commission and who were the members of Congress Committee. Hunter Commission had given its report enlisting 379 dead and few hundreds wounded. But Congress has concluded that more than 1,000 people died and 1,500 people, 1,500 people wounded. Now let me tell you the composition of Hunter Commission, because there was huge noise in British Parliament. Even Churchill at that time, the most conservative kind of thing, who killed lakh people in Bengal famine in 43. But at that time, he spoke that this has a broad, black spot to a British government. Asquith was Prime Minister of that time. So lot of halla gulla, and that Hunter Committee was formed, and in that Hunter Committee, who were the members? Lord Hunter was chairman, Justice George Rankin, who was from Calcutta, because West Bengal, I am addressing many West Bengal audiences also. So I am referring to you. So he was Calcutta Justice, and C.L. Setalwad, Chamanlal Setalwad, who was Vice Chancellor of Bombay University. And Tista Setalwad is his great-granddaughter, and M.C. Setalwad, who was later Attorney General of India, was his son. And now then another member was W.F. Rice, another was Major General George Barrow, Pandit Jagatnarayan Mullah, who was also UP MLC at that time and lawyer, Sahibzada Sultan Ahmed Khan, and Thomas Smith and H.C. Stokes. Now, these were the members. They gave their report in 8th March 1920, 6th volume report. And Indian members of this commission, C.L. Setalwad, Jagatnarayan Mullah, Sahibzada, they gave a minority report. They didn't agree with the Britishers' members' report. Now, then Congress also formed a committee. Congress formed an inquiry committee whose ex-officio chairman, ex-officio president was Madan Mohan Malviya and Pandit Motilal Nehru. Pandit Motilal Nehru and Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya. They were both ex-officio president of that Congress inquiry committee. Who were the other members? That was Mahatma Gandhi and C.R. Das, Chittaranjan Das from Calcutta, from Madras, from Bengal, Abbas S. Tayyabji, M.R. Jaikar, and K. Santanam was secretary of that report. Now, interestingly, this regime, who keeps on eulogizing Madan Mohan Malviya, when Madan Mohan Malviya and Motilal Nehru were together throughout in Central Assembly, throughout freedom struggle, they keep on abusing Motilal Nehru. This regime abuses Motilal Nehru like anything because of their hatred for Jawaharlal Nehru. They hate Jawaharlal Nehru, they hate Motilal Nehru, but they love Madan Mohan Malviya. When Madan Mohan Malviya and Motilal Nehru, they were together in Central Assembly from one party. They were together in so many movements, and they were together, actually they were standing in Central Assembly when Bhagat Singh had thrown bomb on 8th April. So Motilal Nehru and Madan Mohan Malviya both were together. Now, this is a kind of, this regime has its own priorities. How to pick people from freedom. They didn't participate in any freedom struggle. They didn't do anything. They didn't do anything. This RSS and Hindutwaites, they didn't do anything in freedom struggle, but they pick up certain people from freedom struggle to say, oh, this is ours. Madan Mohan Malviya is ours. Sardar Patel is ours. And Motilal Nehru, who played a same role, they hate him. They hate Jawaharlal Nehru. So this is a kind of hypocrisy of this present regime. Anyway, now this committee, actually interestingly, Chittaranjan Das, for Bengal people it is very interesting. Chittaranjan Das took his own corps from Calcutta to Lahore because they were not allowed taxis to have. There was such a fear that taxis were not, they couldn't hire taxis. So Chittaranjan Das took his own car from Calcutta to Lahore, and Pandit Motilal Nehru and Chittaranjan Das both used to travel by their own car from Lahore to Amritsar, which is about 30 miles. So they were basing in Lahore, but they were going to Amritsar to investigate these things. So, and Chittaranjan Das, in one case, to give a telegram to London, he spent 1500 rupees from his pocket to just give a telegram to London about this inquiry committee report for this Jallianwala Bagh. Now, you know, you will be wondering 1500 rupees is nothing today, but in those days 1500 rupees would cost in today's price 1.5 lakh. This 1,000 times. 1.5 लाख रुपए चित्तरंजन दास ने अपनी जेब से खर्च किया था एक लंदन तार देने के लिए, जलियांवाला बाग के लिए। अपने कार लेकर आए कलकत्ता से और वहां से लाहौर रोज कार से जाते थे। तो ये था उन लोगों की देशभक्ति। These were the people, these were the patriots. Those who are ruling us today, they are traitors of the freedom struggle. They are traitors of the freedom struggle. They are traitors of the people. These were the people, you know, how they were contributing, sacrificing their comfortable lives for them. हमारे तो आज के नेताओं को तो फॉरेन ट्रिप्स ही चाहिए लगातार। इनको तो 100 दिन भी हिंदुस्तान में टिकना मुश्किल हो जाता है, क्योंकि जब तक अरबों रुपया फॉरेन ट्रिप्स पे खर्च ना कर दें, इनकी तो चैन नहीं आता इनको। तो मैंने ये हाल है हमारे मुल्क का आज। तो इस तरीके से मैंने ये जो जलियांवाला बाग का कांड है, ये जलियांवाला बाग का दिन है। आज हम 101 साल के बाद इन सब को अपने श्रद्धांजलि देते हैं, लेकिन एक चीज याद रखने की भी करते हैं। याद रखना जरूरी है। वी मस्ट रिमेंबर that we got freedom because of these people, because of these people's sacrifices, and those who didn't do any sacrifice for the country, they are ruling today. They are basically, you know, they were with British colonialism, they were serving British colonialism those days, and now they are ruling. That's why you can test people by their concern for people. You can see these days of coronavirus, 6 years of so-called अच्छे दिन have become terrifying days for 40 crore, you know, मजदूर of India. 40 करोड़ मजदूरों के लिए 40 करोड़ मजदूर एक दिन में सड़कों पे आ गए, सड़कों पे जा रहे हैं। 1 करोड़ 30 लाख लोग 1918 में फ्लू के महामारी में मारे गए थे। अब क्या होगा कुछ मालूम नहीं। 39 करोड़ विदेशों से 100-100, 200 लोगों को मंगवाने के लिए हवाई जहाज पे हवाई जहाज भेज दिए, लेकिन इन बेचारे 40 करोड़ मजदूरों को उनके घरों में भेजने के लिए, शायद वहां भी मरते हो, लेकिन कम से कम उनको ये इमोशनल होता कि हम अपने लोगों के बीच बिहार में, झारखंड में भेजने के लिए उनके लिए रेलगाड़ियां या बसें तक नहीं दी गई कि वो कम से कम अपने घर तो जा सके। अब यहाँ मरने के लिए, यहाँ भूखमरी के लिए, यहाँ भीख मांगने के लिए, वो भीख की तरह उनको खाना मिलता है। दे गेट फूड लाइक ए बेगर गेट्स। देयर ह्यूमन डिग्निटी इज बीइंग कम्प्रोमाइज्ड। हम लोग मिडिल क्लास के लोग अपने घरों में सुरक्षा से बैठे हैं। हम लोग लक्ष्मण रेखा हमारे प्रधानमंत्री ने हमारे लिए खींच दी कि मिडिल क्लास के लोग अपने अपने घरों में बैठो, टीवी देखो, कुछ भी करो, एक्सरसाइज घर में बैठ के कर लो। उन मजदूरों के लिए क्या उनकी जिंदगी है। तो आज जब हम 101 साल बाद जलियांवाला बाग को याद कर रहे हैं, उस वक्त के फ्लू को भी याद करें, 1943 के बंगाल में जो अकाल पड़ा था उसको भी याद करें। कैसे लाखों लोग बंगाल के अकाल में भी इस तरह से अनाज से गोदाम भरे पड़े थे। चर्चिल ने कहा, नहीं, मैं इन भूखे मरते लोगों को गोदाम अन्न नहीं दूंगा, मैं अपनी फौजों को अन्न दूंगा जो दूसरे विश्व युद्ध में लड़ रही थी, उनके लिए अन्न बचा के रखा और बंगाल के लाखों लोगों को भूखे मार दिया चर्चिल ने उस वक्त। आज भी जो हालत है हमारे मजदूरों की फिर वही है। आज पूरी दुनिया में एक चीज साफ हो गई है कि दुनिया में अगर कोई महामारियों से या इस तरह की मुसीबतों से कोई सिस्टम बचा सकता है तो वो सिर्फ सोशलिस्ट सिस्टम बचा सकता है। सिर्फ क्यूबा ही है इसमें जो इसमें पूरी दुनिया की रक्षा कर रहा है, इस कोरोना, इसके वायरस के वक्त में भी, इस भयंकर महामारी के वक्त में भी। तो इसलिए लोगों को इसमें ये समझना चाहिए, जलियांवाले बाग के भी घटना से भी, 1918 के फ्लू की घटना से भी, 1943 के बंगाल की अकाल की घटना से भी, कि ये सिस्टम है एक्सप्लॉयटेशन का सिस्टम जो है, इसको जनता से कोई कंसर्न नहीं है। आज जनता के सामने बिल्कुल सिस्टम बिल्कुल साफ हो गया है कि ये क्लास सिस्टम है, और इस क्लास सिस्टम में सिर्फ चिंता कारपोरेट्स की है, पूंजीपतियों की है, जमींदारों की है, कुछ हमारे मिडिल क्लास के लोगों की है, लेकिन उस गरीब मजदूरों और किसानों की किसी को कोई चिंता नहीं है। 40 करोड़ लोग इस समय कोरोना से सबसे ज़्यादा जो शिकार हैं वो हैं, और मैं तो समझता हूँ कि इस वक्त में हमें उनकी चिंता करनी चाहिए। यही हमारे लिए जलियांवाला बाग के शहीदों को याद करने का सबसे अच्छा तरीका होगा। शुक्रिया, थैंक यू।